Hey, we got a Fox News face-off that I'm excited for. Subscribe, turn on post notifications, smash that like button. I want to hop right into the video because it's going to be good. I know it's going to be good. I got my pen and pad. I'm making a blank piece of paper. It's still writing. Let's go. Hop right into it. Okay.
It's time for today's face-off on Fox Soul. Challengers Quan LX and Big Angry Adams ready to go blow by blow on those hot topics. Face-off on Fox Soul starts right now.
And he did it in self-defense.
New documents detail what happened before and after 17-year-old Anthony allegedly pulled a knife from his backpack and stabbed him. Fox 4's Alex Boyer joining us now live with the latest. Alex.
Hey guys, and in that 7-page arrest warrant affidavit, several witnesses, including Metcalf's twin brother, describe how that deadly encounter went down. The suspect then reportedly admitted to a Frisco police officer who detained him that he had stabbed Metcalf.
My son is gone and I have died.
I'm going to skip ahead because I already watched this before, so I kind of want to hear the debate. So let's just go ahead of this. All right, let's go.
Here's Quan LX.
Get it out. Make it. It's a fact.
Charles, we just watched a segment here discussing the tragic loss of life of a young high school student in Frisco, Texas at a track meet. And watching that newscast, it upsets me because that newscast is full of damn lies. This is a tragic situation where a young man lost his life, yes. But young Carmelo Anthony, in this case, the young man who's been charged with murder, he did not assault anyone in the beginning. He didn't start this fight. The young man approached him with his brother, threatening Carmelo to move out of a spot that was not assigned to anybody. Where Carmelo was sitting, he had a right to be sitting. There was no assigned seating anywhere in the stadium that excluded students from sitting in certain areas. Then when they went to Carmelo, he was threatened by both brothers. And he told them, don't put your hands on me. And they threatened to put their hands on him. And he told them, if you put your hands on me, watch what happens. The white kid, in this case, punched Carmelo in the face. He didn't push him. He punched him in the face. And then that young man defended himself, and unfortunately, a young student lost his life. But Charles, in the state of Texas, you have a right to stand your ground, and if you are the victim of a vicious attack, you can use deadly force if necessary to protect yourself and your life to stop you from becoming a further victim of an assault or a crime. Why is this young man in jail when he didn't start it? He didn't approach anyone. They approached him. They used profane language toward him. They threatened him and then assaulted him, and he defended himself. Why is he in jail? He's defended himself from a vicious attack and assault. So this young man, in my opinion, should not be in jail. Teach your children. Keep your hands to yourself. That's what needs to be taught here. And to tell this young brother to give up your seat, give me your seat, this ain't no damn Rosa Parks era. You just can't go to a young black man and say, give up your seat. He had a right to sit there. And so that brother had his back of the bus moment and refused to give up his seat, and it cost that young white kid his life.
Now, before he goes, if you are faint at heart, get out of here now. Get out of here now, because this is what I like. I want to hear both sides of the story from both perspectives. Not Fox News, not CNN, nobody telling that. Two people who have opposing views on the story, giving their perspective. This is what we need in America. It doesn't have to be about race. Like I know he brought up white kid, but it doesn't have to be about it. Was it a wrong situation? If the kid, Carmelo Anthony, was in the wrong, he deserves to be in jail. But if everything that he just said is true, we need to have a conversation. And a deep one, too. So here's the other side. Let's hear the other side of the story.
I rarely say this, Quanell. I sometimes internalize it, but shame on you.
Don't get emotional. No. He said the facts. No shame on. No. Talk specifically about the situation. I can't stand this about Republicans, news anchors, people who try to deflect. No, he just presented an argument. Now make the argument back.
How absolutely despicable for you to sit here and try to draw this false equivalency between Rosa Parks and this scumbag murderer, right? Shame on you for living a life defined by make-believe racial grievance that you seek a pulpit to lie to people. Let's talk about those lies. Even if you assume everything that is coming out of the Carmelo Anthony camp, even if you assume all of that is true, under the laws of the state of Texas, he is still absolutely guilty of murder, period. Like, you can assume all the fabrications are true. It's still murder, right? You do not have a right to use deadly force in response to a shove or a punch. Now, mind you, all the witness statements are saying it was a shove that was goaded, but let's assume everyone's lying and this murderer is telling the truth. You still can't, because the scenario, what you're advocating for, and pulling Rosa Parks into, is that every time someone walks through a club and someone shoves them or bumps them, you can pull out a knife and stab them in the heart and kill them. And I have no doubt that more is going to come out of Carmelo Anthony. That more evidence, and there are rumors that I don't want to regurgitate.
Oh, please do.
No.
Please
Let's talk about what has been sold. That you sent me this weekend when we were discussing it. You sent me the statement by the police chief that turned out to be just fabricated. Somebody out there making believe the FBI is now involved, right? And that people are regurgitating all over social media. And it's all driven on racial lines. You are the one that was calling for Daniel Penny to go to prison for life. Now, mind you, we have this new spectacular game in America, right, where we play white man always bad and evil, black man always good, no matter what happens. The truth is, my feelings on this, if it was a white young man...
No one cares about your feelings. What are the facts? You said it was a push, shove. Did the boy touch the boy first? If he did, in the state of Ohio, you have stand your ground laws. But there's a part of the story that I don't think he's adding in here, though, the white guy. So I'll add it in for him. Hopefully it comes on later. If Carmelo Anthony threw out the shout, if he threw out, touch me and see what happens. That's it. That you can't. I don't think you can claim self-defense at that point. If you said touch me and see what happens, that means it was premeditated what you were about to do. So self-defense can only go if you felt you were threatened and you reacted. But I don't know if he's gonna make that point, but that's a point that he could argue for the other kid. Damn it, I'm gonna just play it.
Who brought a knife to school, went to someone else's tent, started being a jackleg, refused to move out, and then pulled out a knife and jabbed it in someone's heart, I would call him a murderer. And if a white kid did exactly what Carmelo Anthony did to a black kid, you would be out here marching in the street.
Oh, no, I would not be. George Zimmerman was the Trayvon Martin and put his hands on that kid who was doing nothing wrong. And you same white folks found George Zimmerman not guilty of murder when Trayvon was defending himself. Right here in Texas, you've had many cases where white men have been assaulted by black men. They use deadly force and they're not charged.
Why are you talking about something else?
You cannot tell me
about my position, you despicable, shameless liar.
He was assaulted. That young man was assaulted. He was threatened more than one time. He was asked to move from an area he had a right to sit in. He didn't approach nobody. He didn't threaten nobody. That young man, after being threatened continuously 3 times in a row, was punched in the face. He had a right to defend himself. So don't tell me that this young man can be threatened multiple times and physically punched and assaulted, and he ain't got a right to put his hands in self-defense on a person assaulting him. And he can use whatever force is necessary to stop the attack.
Why do you just lie all the time?
You brought up Daniel Penny.
I did.
Daniel Penny choked the young man to death on the subway. But that young man, he hadn't assaulted anybody. He was making threats, but he physically didn't touch anyone. This case was threats backed up by a physical attack and assault that this young man put on that young black brother. That young black brother had a right to defend himself when he was beyond threatened but viciously attacked.
Well, there's another key difference, right? Mr. Penn.
Okay, so this is good. Let's keep going. But again, I think his name's Cornell, the host. That's why I was trying to think of the other guy's name, Cornell. I don't know both of their names. I got to listen again for both of their names. I wrote it down at first, but who cares? He's making bigger points than the other guy. Make the point. Like, if it was premeditated, then you can't claim self-defense. However, though, he was attacked. So, being attacked, you're in a state where you have the right to stand your ground. I'm trying to understand what white people are actually upset about if the man was defending himself, because in every other scenarios, they didn't get upset about that one. What's so upsetting about this specific scenario?
Right, had a guy, a crazy guy, going up and screaming and yelling and threatening to kill people, an unhinged guy that should have probably been in a hospital.
The same thing the white boy did to Carmelo Anthony.
You know, not screaming over you. Let me finish. Right? And Daniel Penny, not using a deadly weapon, restrained him. And I said from the very beginning, there was a real question about where the line was drawn and what he did and if he was alive. Now, the medical examiner came out and they said it turns out that the fellow was still alive when Mr. Penny let him go. But that was a very nuanced situation. But here's a big nuance. I mean, something that you're ignoring is it didn't involve a deadly weapon. But let's talk about examples. So Daniel Penny put up a GoFundMe and it got taken down. Oh, it can't be up, right? The Anthony family, the wonderful Anthony family that raised this murderer, did such a wonderful job, this defender, right, of liberty, this new Rosa Parks for 2025, as you call him. They put a GoFundMe up for $100,000. It didn't get taken down. The moment, minutes after it got the $100,000, they jacked it up for more money. Because it's all just a con.
George
Zimmerman
raised $1 million that was donated to him after killing Trayvon Martin. Kyle Rittenhouse, after he killed 2 people in cold blood, he raised over $1 million. Wait a minute.
Let's talk about that.
Who killed Michael Brown, he raised almost $2 million. So don't tell me that when black folks decide to put money and support behind a young brother who didn't start a fight, who didn't threaten nobody, who was sitting where he could have right to be sitting, was threatened more than one time, was physically attacked, he defends himself, and then all of a sudden he's in jail for murder. But guess what, brother? We gonna stand behind ours like you white folks stand behind yours.
Okay, let me
that
be
young
clear.
brother was attacked.
I know you're yelling because you really get worked up when you're lying. But let me say,
we are tired. This is good. It's a good conversation, man. But like, come on, man. This dude needs to come with some better arguments. The other guy doesn't have any arguments whatsoever. He's right. George Zimmerman had a GoFundMe. Kyle Rittenhouse had a GoFundMe. The church shooter with the Confederate flag, he got a Whopper. I just don't. I see 100% of where he's coming from. I know white folks are just mad because they see a fellow white person dying, but they're getting a taste of how we feel. It's funny when it's always funny when the rabbit's got the gun, right? But this is not any hate towards white people at all. Like, and I know like he doesn't hate white people. He's just saying like it's a contradiction. It's a contradiction, man. It really is.
Very clear.
But it's justified.
Us killing
but we defend ourselves,
now,
it's murder.
Let's firstly, George Zimmerman, absolutely a murderer. The officer that shot Michael Brown, there's evidence that Michael Brown attacked him. The question is, there's also some evidence that he was running away that was refuted. That's a very weird situation. It exemplifies wall
But this young man attacked Carmelo Anthony.
Hold on, Mr. Liar-in-Chief.
No, you're a liar.
No, I'm not going to lie.
Because you white folks hate when black folks
You
defend
brought up
themselves.
George Zimmerman. He
literally just admitted that the officer, there's evidence of both, that he was running away and there's evidence that that he attacked the officer. There's evidence of both, right? If there's evidence that he attacked the officer and the officer gunned him down, then you justified the gunning down of Michael Brown, which means you would justify Carmelo Anthony unaliving this kid, the other kid. I for some reason can't think of his. I just had his name in my head, but the black kid unaliving the white kid. I'll just say it like that because that's how it's being framed anyway. You know, just to be fair, till they say the white kid's name, then I'll say it. But either which way, but to say like the officer, anyways, you kind of just justified the situation almost in a way.
Prosecuted, it failed.
And white folks found him not guilty. All white
He was absolutely a murderer, in my opinion. I disagreed with that outcome, just like I disagree with the officer that murdered Tamir Rice, not facing charges.
Not guilty.
You act like, well, he was never charged.
A grand jury said not guilty. Let him go.
Here's the thing. You act like all white people have this one opinion. What we're only seeing in America right now is the only thing we see is the brazenness of some people. Obviously, it's not everyone that racialize every incident, and they look at it through the prism of race, right? And for you, if you flip-flop the races here, you would be screaming about the entire different thing, and I'd be agreeing with you that was wrong. But you make all of your decisions based on race. Then you lie and scream
That's
and
your
talk.
assessment
No, it's
here.
not an assessment.
Because there's a white victim in this
so
case. I'm sorry, Charles. He didn't start a fight. He didn't threaten anybody.
Well, actually,
Carmelo Anthony did not threaten anybody.
Very clear.
I've talked to witnesses. I've talked to the family. I've talked to the grandfather.
Which family?
Carmelo Anthony's family.
Exactly.
And I've talked to his family.
You're getting paid.
And gotten
You're getting
details.
paid,
Not a
Carmel?
penny.
Yeah,
Not a penny.
yet.
But
Here's
guess
the
what?
deal.
I'll say this to you.
Don't say it.
Not only am I not getting paid, I'm sending some of my money towards defense fund.
Okay, hey,
because that
hey,
young brother
let's talk
deserves
about
an adequate and thorough defense, and I'm donating to it, and I pray others do also.
So if he has such a valid defense, why are there so many lies swirling around in the slurry of social media that first it was that there was past encounters between these brothers and Mr. Anthony and his girlfriend, that they robbed Mr. Anthony, that they attacked him and beat him up, and he was looking at his life was threatened. When none of it occurred, there's very detailed witness accounts available.
But there's all kinds of lies going on.
Send
There
me
are all kinds of lies going on.
Actually, there's not, right?
Now, what about this one?
So there, I read a
Now, this young man was
finished.
killed.
You can yell. I can yell too. No, you interrupted
You
me.
opening your mouth to me like
You've been
that.
yelling at
Don't
me the
frighten
whole
me.
time.
You
You've been
white
yelling
folks
the whole
are
time.
reaping what you sow.
White folks.
You're
How many
reaping
times-
what you sow.
White folks
You're
are-
reaping what you sow.
So what did Austin Metcalf deserve to get murdered in your book?
Austin Metcalf, write that down. I want to remember his name. Out of respect, because it's respect. That's just how I feel about it. Austin Metcalf, Carmelo Anthony, who now is his name. Out of respect.
Book.
When he threatened more than once.
Okay.
When he approached.
What did he say?
Let me finish.
What did he say?
When he threatened that,
How did he
that if he did not give up his seat, what he was going to do.
What did he say?
When
he
he
was gonna
threatened
do?
that young man
What did he say?
that if you don't move, I'm going to punch you in your face.
Okay.
2. 3, when he decided that he was going to take his hand, punch that innocent kid in the face who didn't threaten him, who was not breaking any laws, who was not violating no school policies or procedures.
Okay.
When he did that, he crossed the line.
He was violating
and it gave Carmelo Anthony the right to defend himself.
Okay.
Carmelo Anthony was not the instigator. He was not the initial aggressor. The instigator, the threatener, and the initial aggressor, Mr. Metcalf, died. He brought that on himself.
Okay, that's a disgusting take, right? But you said he wasn't breaking any rules. Was it a violation of school policy to come to the track meet armed with a deadly weapon?
So now,
Yes or no?
There
Wait
you
a minute.
go.
Yes or no?
it was the
Yeah, there you go. Now we're having a conversation. Let's go. Let's have this conversation now.
knife.
no.
It was that kind of knife.
Yes or no?
It was not that kind of
Well,
knife.
what kind of knife was it?
That's the lie being told.
No.
It was not no butcher knife, no kitchen knife. It wasn't no buck knife. It wasn't that kind of knife.
What kind of knife was it?
See, I'm going to be quiet right now. It's going to
No.
come out.
Oh,
Those
liars
knives that he
gonna talk.
used were the same ones they used to help put them tents up.
Okay, so he was armed. The knife is his.
So he didn't come with it. He found it there. Is that what they're saying? And that he used to put it up. Oh man, this is getting juicy.
A lot of kids had those knives putting those tents up. It's a custom knife that they put those tents up. He didn't bring no weapon like
Are you
that.
allowed to carry a knife at school?
Charles, it was not that type of weapon.
Okay, was it a knife
At
or
all,
not?
Charles. It was something that they used to help erect tents.
Okay, who told you that?
All of them. Let me say, see, Charles, I'm not going to get too deep into that.
I get
point,
that. Had so
but it was something
Carmelo
that was
been in
used as
trouble
commonly
before
used
for carrying a weapon at school?
I don't know anything about
You
this.
don't know anything about it. Okay, so we can agree, though, that it is in fact a violation of policy to have a deadly weapon at a track meet.
Well,
Yes or no?
Yes, it's a violation. You shouldn't have a weapon at the track meet. You shouldn't. But then again, I don't know. Texas state law: are you allowed to have a weapon on you? Because you are allowed. I don't think you have to conceal to carry. I don't think you have to. I don't know. I'm gonna look into it. I'm gonna look into it.
Yes or no? Can we agree
He
to
didn't
that?
bring that type of weapon.
Okay.
He did not.
Did he have a weapon hidden in his
He
backpack?
used a weapon to defend himself.
Did he
Charles.
open up his backpack?
He used a
and
weapon to
say,
defend himself.
I dare you to touch me.
No, Charles.
Well, then, so
he had a
everyone's
right
on-
to do that.
Oh, well,
He
really?
wasn't wrong.
Really?
If you in my face threaten to do bodily harm to me, if you threaten me over and over to do bodily harm to me, and
Well,
then
what
you
was the
punch
threat?
me in my face,
Well, because-
he got a right to use whatever force necessary to stop that attack.
So what you're saying is if it turns out that everyone that was there that gave witness statements that have been published, if they weren't lying, and he didn't punch him in the face, right? If they didn't threaten him with physicality and didn't punch him in his face, do you still think that murder was
Charles,
okay?
I've talked to two
do you
students.
still think that murder
Let me go
was
a little
okay?
deeper. I've talked to two students
Okay.
who were right there, Caucasian students.
Okay.
And they told me, yes, he was punched in the face.
Who were those students?
I'm not going to name them.
Okay, of course you're not.
But those
because
two
you're
students,
lying to Fox
no,
Soul.
you are damn lying.
No, I'm
I
not.
talked to those two students.
You were the same
and
person.
They admitted that he punched that boy in the face after threatening him. Charles.
Okay. You are the same person that sent me this narrative along with a false police chief
That was
statement.
put out there before the public, yes.
Right? And the thing is, you are just regurgitating lies that are all designed that you wouldn't. And my whole problem is not that you're. My whole problem
If
is
he
not.
punched him in the face.
My whole problem.
So if he threatened him and punched him, was that self-defense?
No, it's still not a text.
So if you
want me to tell
so if you
the law?
threaten that kid over and over and punch him in the face, you can't use no force necessary to stop that attack. So Texas don't have a standing ground law.
Do you what?
Texas don't have a standing ground.
Not in that context.
Oh,
no.
stop it,
I think you
Charles.
misunderstand it.
No,
If
he got a standing ground law, Charles, and he stood his ground.
Okay, you're lying.
He stood his
And I
ground,
don't
Charles.
know for sure, although I know you're a very intelligent man, so I think you're knowingly lying as opposed to just.
No, you
but
just
my
don't like
problem,
to put the 12
my
proof in
real
your
problem with this, it's not that you're wrong about Texas law. My real problem with this is that this incident has made it glaringly clear that you are willing to take whatever position you have to take, irrespective of the truth, based purely on skin color. And that's repugnant. In Texas, right, so let me educate you about self-defense. He did not have the option to escalate to the use of a deadly weapon and deadly force in response to any sort of just shove or even if it was a punch, right? You can't pull out a gun and shoot someone that punches you.
So what can you do if you get
now,
punched?
hold on.
In Texas.
Are you going to punch him back? You can shove him back. No, it's true.
You got a right to stop the aggressor.
No, you don't have
You
a
got a
right
right
to
to
use
stand
deadly
your
force.
ground and stop the
So
aggressor.
you think that we live in a state where every time someone shoves or punches someone, the other person can pull out a gun or a knife and kill them?
This is what I believe.
Yes or no?
This is what I believe.
No, you're going to
Now,
lie.
if
Lie
you
to
go
the
up to
audience.
someone and you threaten them, continuously threaten them, and then you follow up on that threat and physically attack them and assault them, they got a right to use whatever force is necessary to stop the aggressor.
Okay.
That's what I believe. And
Yep. As far as I'm concerned, I don't hear nothing wrong on either. We just gotta wait till the court case comes out, y'all. Because if he didn't pull the weapon out of his bag, that also is kind of crazy too. He was punched, but I don't know if he can call self-defense. Again, if he said, "Touch me and see what happens," that means premeditated. You knew what you were about to do. I don't know if he can call self-defense, but maybe he can get lured to manslaughter, or maybe it could be murder, pending on the evidence on the other side. But hey, this is definitely something that's roaring up all around the country. So we'll keep the conversations going, and hey, I'll stay tuned on it. I'm unbiased in this, so I don't care what side comes out true. If it comes out that Carmelo Anthony was completely in the wrong, we 100% will go 100% with that. But if it comes out that Carmelo Anthony was defending himself, and they come to that with a jury of our peers, and we just got to go along with it. It's all you got here. But anyways, peace.